6:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lakshman Fonseca and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. The President instructs officials to prohibit unauthorized construction up to Borlanda-Houghton Plains. The Justice Minister stresses that it is a must to uphold the rule of law to develop the country. The Ministry of Trade granted permission to import eggs. Interviews for recruiting student nurses will commence next month. The Irrigation Department issues an amber flood warning for the low-lying areas of Malwa to Oya as the water levels are rising. The International Energy Agency says a global coal use is expected to reach a record high. And those are the headlines. President Ranil Wickremesinghe instructs officials to prohibit unauthorized construction up to Borlanda-Houghton Plains. Accordingly, measures will be taken to halt constructions of unauthorized buildings in the areas from Borlanda to Houghton Place. The President said that he had observed the area well and many of the unauthorized buildings are unsafe and causing terrible damages to the natural ecosystem. The President made these remarks at the Badulla District Coordination Committee meeting held in Uva Province Public Library Auditorium yesterday. The President also instructed officials to follow correct proceedings before giving approval for construction works. Additionally, the President looked into the relief efforts made for the residents of the disaster-affected zone and gave officials instructions to promptly submit to him a detailed report on areas acceptable to or prone to landslides. The meeting also addressed challenges in resettling displaced individuals and the legal release of the land from estate companies. President Wickremesinghe emphasized the need for prompt discussions with plantation companies to overcome these challenges. The Minister of Justice, Dr. Vijaydas Rajapaksa, says it is a must to uphold the rule of law to develop the country. He added that the rule of law must be equally applicable for both the rulers and general public. He said that all Sri Lankans had to suffer badly in the past few years due to the COVID epidemic, economic issues and also political crisis. He recollected after the political turmoil, none of the politicians expressing their opinions today came forward to take over the country. However, the present government took over the country in the face of all these challenges to save the country from its disaster. The minister said that the government has restored the country within a year and the inflation rate has also come down. He said the government has also established independent commissions to establish the rule of law and serve the public equally. Minister made these remarks at the inauguration ceremony of the Matale District Main Mobile Service Program under the program of resolving legal issues and providing necessary legal relief to the people of the Central Province. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Minister of Trade, Commerce and Food Security, Nalin Fernando, said that the corporation has been granted permission to import eggs until April 2024. He stated that the imported eggs will be sold to the consumers at a price of 35 rupees. Minister said that the decision to import eggs was taken in a bid to control the unreasonable increase of the egg prices in the local market. He also noted that the government would continue to import eggs if local egg producers fail to bring down the exorbitant prices. The Health Ministry announces interviews for selecting intern nurses to nursing service will commence on the 13th of next month. The ministry says recruitment of student nurses is based on the results of a 2019-2020 advanced level examination. The selected applicants will undergo 3 years of nursing training. Last year, 3,315 nursing students were enrolled for the training based on the advanced level results of 2018-2019. Currently, the number of student nurses undergoing nursing training in Sri Lanka is about 6,700, the Health Ministry said. The Irrigation Department says there is a possibility of a minor flood situation occurring in low-lying areas of Malwa to Oya Valley, situated in Vengadachetikulam, Madu, and Nanatan Divisional Secretariat Divisions, as a considerable rainfall has occurred in upstream areas of Malwa to Oya. As a result, there is a high possibility of inundation of roads running through the floodplains of Malwa to Oya, the irrigation department said. The department warns the residents in those areas and motorists travelling through those areas are requested to pay high attention in this regard. And that's local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatma.
The final draft of the Greater Kandy Development Plan was handed over to President Ranil Wickremesinghe this morning. The function was held at the Kandy Presidential Palace. Addressing the gathering, the President said that he would discuss with JICA about accelerating the development activities of the historic city. The proposal presented by President Ranil Wickremesinghe in February 2023 to turn Kandy into a well-planned, organized and fully developed city was unanimously approved by the Council of Ministers.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatma.
This is Watchlight.
Sri Lanka incurs an annual loss between 17 to 20 billion rupees owing to crop damage caused by animals. The Icta Compagado Agrarian Research and Training Institute says more than 31,000 metric tons of vegetables and fruits harvest is lost each year due to damage by wild animals. Meanwhile, Minister of Agriculture Mahinda Amaravira claimed that all strategies implemented so far in order to prevent crop damages from wild animals have failed. He also said that the amount of coconuts destroyed by the monkeys during the year 2022 exceeds 200 million.
Coming up, world news.
First, the headlines. The International Energy Agency says the global coal use is expected to reach a record high in 2023. More than 60 migrants feared drowned off Libya, IOM says. U.S. homelessness surges to a record level. And those are the headlines of the world news. The International Energy Agency says the global coal use is expected to reach a record high in 2023 as demand is emerging and developing economies remain strong. In a report, IEA said the demand for coal is seen rising 1.4% in 2023, surpassing 8.5 billion tons for the first time, as the usage in India is expected to grow 8% and that in China up 5% due to rising electricity demand and weak hydropower output. More than 60 migrants are believed to have drowned in a shipwreck off the coast of Libya, the International Organization for Migration, IOM, said. Citing survivors, the UN agency said on Saturday that the vessel left the city of Zuwara with around 86 people on board. It said high waves swamped the boat and that 61 migrants, including children, were missing and presumed dead. The number of people without a permanent housing has reached an all-time high in the United States. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development said over 653,100 people were homeless countrywide in January. Furthermore, the report sheds light on phenomenal surge in homelessness among individuals identifying in Hispanic, with a substantial 28% increase equating to 39,106 people between the years 2022 and 2023. And that's world news. Development news. Sri Lanka Tea Board Chairman Niraj Dimal says the Sri Lanka-Iran tea for oil barter was functioning exactly well and there had been a steady increase in overall prices at the auction. He said prices at the Colombo tea auction have surged given the impressive performance of the Sri Lanka-Iran tea for oil barter mechanism as well as the increased demand from Russia observed over the past 2 or 3 weeks. And that was development news.
Moving on with sports news.
Australia off-spinner Nathan Lyon became the 8th player to take 500 career test wickets on the 4th day of the first test against Pakistan. Lyon claimed his landmark wicket in Perth, removing Fahim Ashraf, LBW, on review. It makes Lyon just the 3rd Australian to reach the milestone after Shane Warne 708 wickets and Glenn McGrath 563 wickets. And that was sports news.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Princess Anne, a senior member of the British royal family, will arrive in Sri Lanka on January 10th for a 3-day visit. Sri Lanka's High Commissioner in London, Rohita Bogalagama, says the visit will further cement Sri Lankan relations with Great Britain and also give a major boost to Sri Lankan tourism. And that's Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
And now in economic news.
A series of events will be organized throughout January and February on the theme Galle Concerto 2024 to promote the southern coastline as a tourism destination. It will be launched under the guidance of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The organizers plan to showcase a broad array of artistic elements of the Sri Lankan culture through a series of programs hosted by different southern coastal towns. And that was economic news. Weather report. The Met Department says showers will occur at times in northern, north central, east and Goa provinces and in Hambantota district. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in other areas of the island after 1 p.m. Fairly heavy showers, about 75 millimeters, are likely at some places in northern, north central and eastern provinces. Showers or thundershowers will occur at times in the sea areas of the coast extending from Puttalam to Trincomalee via Mannar and Kankasunture. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in other sea areas around the island. And that was the weather report. To wind up this news broadcast, let's look at the main points once again. The President instructs officials to prohibit unauthorized constructions up to Borolanda Horton Plains. The Justice Minister stresses that it is a must to uphold the rule of law to develop the country. The Minister of Trade granted permission to import eggs. Interviews for recruiting student nurses will commence next month. The Irrigation Department issues an amber flood warning for the low-lying areas of the Malmö as the water levels are rising. The International Energy Agency says the global coal use is expected to reach a record high. And with that, we conclude this evening news broadcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. It's back to Chandima Virakun to keep you company with the rest of the programs this Sunday evening.
Thank you very much, Yoga. That was Yogaraj bringing you the evening bulletin of news. 28 minutes down, 6 is the time.
Here's important news from the State Pharmaceuticals Corporation. All Rajya Sasal outlets of the SPC gives a 5% discount for medicines on prescription for senior citizens above 55 years, children under 5 years and pregnant mothers. SPC provides high quality, safe, efficacious medicinal drugs at affordable prices. The State Pharmaceuticals Corporation of Sri Lanka. Your health is our concern.
You're with Radio Sri Lanka on 97.4 and 97.6 FM.
And as usual, on a Sunday, it's going to be the musical miscellany, but there's a change. Mario Vijayawardena is not here this evening, and instead, here I am, Chandima Virakun, taking over and keeping you company. So, stay tuned to Radio Sri Lanka and enjoy some good old music on the musical miscellany, and of course, I'll be playing some of your favorite seasonal tracks as well. Having said that, let me begin with one of those.